The IAAO has a rich history spanning 85 years. This video highlights some of the key figures and milestones achieved during that time. As you'll see, the vision of IAAO's founders and the continued commitment of its members to further that vision is what has propelled the IAAO to its status as the world's preeminent source for innovation, education, and research in the fields of property appraisal, assessment administration, and property tax policy. As we look back, we also encourage you to look to the future of our association and consider how we can build upon the spirit of dedication of those that came before us. In 1934, John Donahue called a group of assessors together during a meeting of the Municipal Finance Officers Association in Philadelphia to consider the formation of a new association for assessing officers in the United States. 11 assessors embraced John's idea and made it their own. The new association was called the National Association of Assessing Officers. John Donahue was elected president, and Matilda Zorowska Hudak was elected secretary-treasurer. Matilda was the only woman of the founding 11. Here's Matilda's remembrance of that remarkable day.
When 11 men and I met in Philadelphia in 1934 to organize an association of assessors who would strive to take assessors out of politics and establish training and educational programs, our aim was to make it a professional organization. Most of us were strangers to each other. The men did not know what to do with the woman intruder. I was asked for my certification, which I produced, but I noticed that the same request was not made of the men. The organizers never visualized or expected to witness the tremendous progress this association has made. As the last living founder, I am especially pleased to see the number of successful women in the profession.
Today, in honor of Matilda's meaningful impact, the IAAO presents the Matilda Zorowska Hudak Member of the Year Award to an IAAO member who has made a significant contribution to the association through active participation in its activities and who has made an outstanding contribution to the realization of the IAAO mission in his or her career. 1938 was an eventful year for our young association. That year, the first NAAO chapter charter was granted to New York City and the Standard Practice Series was first published. This series eventually developed into IAAO's technical standards. Also that year, the NAAO moved its headquarters from the American School of Correspondence building in Chicago to become one of the first occupants of the new Public Administration building at 1313 East 16th Street in Chicago. It remained there for the next 55 years. The 1940s saw the association steadily expand. In 1944, regular membership was extended to Canadians. 3 years later, 79 of the 1,127 NAAO members resided outside of the United States. Today, IAAO members represent over 30 countries. By the 1950s, our association was stronger than ever, and the 1950 annual conference in Atlantic City, New Jersey, gathered what was at the time the largest group of assessing officers ever assembled in one room. The following year, U.S. President Harry Truman sent the NAAO a congratulatory letter recognizing the association's achievements, stating, "Your membership has contributed extensively to the improvement of the local tax structures by encouraging good assessment practices and by raising the qualification standards of personnel charged with responsibility for assessments." 1953 marked the first time the Certified Assessment Evaluator designation was offered. 22 members took the exam, with only 7 earning the designation. Today, our professional designations program has granted over 1,200 CAE designations. It is still considered by some to be the most difficult designation to earn. 1959 commemorated the NAAO's 25th anniversary. It also was the last conference sponsored by the National Association of Assessing Officers. By unanimous vote, the name was officially changed to the International Association of Assessing Officers at the meeting in Philadelphia. The steady growth the NAAO experienced in the 1940s and 50s skyrocketed in the early 60s. 1960 saw IAAO membership rise to 3,000 members. By the end of December 1964, membership had grown to 3,500. Enter IAAO President Kenneth Back, CAE. More than anything, President Back wanted every member actively participating, getting a great experience, telling others about it, and bringing them into membership. He wanted to break records and then do better. And that's exactly what he did. As president, Kenneth sparked the largest membership rally in IAAO's history by gaining 874 new members between January and August of 1965, raising total membership to over 4,200. The annual conference held in Houston, Texas that year also set a record, boasting over 2,000 attendees.
The late 1960s and early 1970s were a peak period for IAAO, primarily because many projects on learning were coming to fruition. Clifford Allen, IAAO president from 1969 to 1970, described the hallmark of a professional to be never-ending quest for more knowledge and technical skill in one's chosen profession. In April 1970, IAAO's Technical Assistance Program, also known as TAP or Tech Assist, was launched. The program was a new concept, allowing members to request and contract individually for expert advisory and consulting services in assessment administration.
The 1970s were also accompanied by the introduction of computer-assisted appraisal systems. IAAO embraced the new technology and in 1973 published Computerized Assessment Administration. The publication discussed the use of computer technology and statistical techniques to improve appraisal methods and data management systems. It sold out its first printing in record time. Only 3 years later, the IAAO published Statistics and Computers in the Appraisal Process, demonstrating the rapid technology changes of the era. The 1980s continued to bring important milestones to the association. In 1981, the first legal seminar was held in Orlando, Florida. The seminar brings assessing officers, attorneys, and others interested in property assessment and taxation from across the U.S. and Canada. Experts in the assessment law field discuss some of the most important legal and legislative issues affecting society. In 1985, another cultural barrier was shattered. Our IAAO president that year was, as always, an outstanding member. However, according to a 1985 article in our newsletter, she was not quite the average property tax professional. The typical IAAO member that year was a 45-year-old male working in a moderately sized county, making an annual salary of $29,000. Nonetheless, Barbara Bruner broke through to become IAAO's first female president the year IAAO celebrated its 50th anniversary. President Bruner led the way for a number of outstanding female presidents to follow. The 1990s was the decade for designations. In 1990, the Virginia Association of Assessing Officers challenged other states to increase the number of designees in their respective states and ultimately to increase professionalism in the assessing field. Today, the state with the most members receiving an IAAO professional designation since the previous annual conference is awarded the Virginia Cup. 3 new designations were added between 1990 and 1995. The Cadastral Mapping Specialist designation was established in 1990, followed closely by the Personal Property Specialist designation in 1991. 1995 introduced the Assessment Administration Specialist designation. This designation is awarded to candidates who demonstrate professional competency in the administration of property assessment systems.
The new millennium brought a continued focus on outreach and professional development. The IAAO member magazine, Fair and Equitable, debuted in 2003. Today, the magazine is available in print and in e-format. It offers feature articles on relevant topics, spotlight articles on special topics, and local, regional, and international activities, as well as coverage of IAAO-sponsored events, programs, and activities. In 2004, the IAAO continued to promote best practices by introducing the Certificate of Excellence in Assessment Administration. This challenging and rigorous program is a self-conducted evaluation of specific, accepted assessment administration and appraisal practices as defined in the IAAO publication Assessment Practices Self-Evaluation Guide. Alachua County, Florida earned the first CEAA. To date, nearly 50 cities and counties have earned the certification.
After 70 years in Chicago, IAAO headquarters was relocated to Kansas City, Missouri in 2005. The Adler Building became IAAO's new home. The building, built in 1908, is in the heart of the historic garment district of downtown Kansas City. In bygone years, Adler's Furs, the Missouri Hat Works, the White Church Recording Company, and Kansas City Custom Garment operated out of this building. In 2009, the Paul V. Carusi Memorial Library launched its new online catalog, Library Link. The catalog is a means for members to access the largest collection of assessment and appraisal materials in the world.
IAAO has made significant contributions in recent years. In 2016, the International Research Symposium returned after a 28-year hiatus. The symposium offers an opportunity for participants to exchange knowledge and discuss emerging trends to promote continuing improvement of land administration and property tax systems worldwide. 2016 also brought the debut of the Body of Knowledge, also known as Appendium. This series of books is the result of a major initiative launched by IAAO to capture and articulate in one place a description of the expertise required to effectively work within the assessment profession. The Body of Knowledge enhances all aspects of what IAAO offers its members.
In that same spirit of outreach and professional development, the IAAO introduced Iwa Connect in its most recent publication, GIS for Property Tax and Assessment Professionals. Both became available in 2018. IAAO Connect is an online community allowing members to come together to learn, educate, mentor, and discover. It's an excellent place to ask your peers industry-related questions, as it allows members a window into the work being done in other jurisdictions. GIS for Property Tax and Assessment Professionals is the first book in our industry specifically tailored to describe the multiple uses of geographic information systems tools and property tax valuation units through the world. Since its founding, the IAAO has grown from 12 forward-thinking individuals to a global association with more than 8,000 members. Its success belongs to all who have dedicated their time, resources, and expertise to further professional practice in the assessing field. Each generation has built on those that have come before them by embracing new technologies and committing to the cause of professional development. Perhaps former IAAO President Kenneth Back's words capture this spirit the best when he said, "While being ever mindful of the lessons of the past, it is to the future that we need to direct our attention, for it is only the future that we can do something about." Never has the demand for professionalism in the broadest sense been more acute. IAAO stands ready to help now and must be even better prepared to help in the future.